on the topic of censorship, Facebook recently said that your post promoting your music goes against their community standards on spam, which is quite a blunder by their algorithms, if it was even the algorithms, of course. But you just released some new music a few days ago under your artist name, 33. And I listened to a few tracks this morning. I was definitely impressed. I know you've been a musician for years now. And I guess when Matt and I came to your festivals for the community, um, back in what, 2015, 2016, your band at the time was a little bit more screamo, but your new track, Clarity slash Streetlights, was a departure from that. It certainly had a great vibe. I love the sax sample, and the production and musicianship was actually pretty damn impressive. And that's coming from, of course, an audio engineer, which I think many people probably don't know about me. I studied audio production in school. But yeah, man, I very much appreciated the lyrics, the tone, and this certainly wasn't something that was thrown together in haste, which is even more remarkable because you're spread so thin, man. Like, I don't know where you find the time to do this stuff. But with that said, you are using the name 33. And for all the conspiracy theorists out there, are you a Freemason? No, but for real, like, can you tell us about your music and where the fire inside comes from to take on this type of artistic endeavor on top of everything else that you already do?
Absolutely. And I will answer the Freemason question because now that you've said it, if I don't answer it, there's going to be conspiracies about why I didn't answer it. No, because it's already like, well, for one, thank you, brother, for giving me a chance to talk about my music because honestly, yeah, like when you guys came out before, I was playing, I've always grown up like in metal and punk. So I've always done either vocals or percussion in like heavier bands. And I was in a band all the way up till 2019 when I was still living in Houston, but they kicked me out because I'm too busy, as is clear. I was running for mayor and trying to do these things, and they're like, dude, you don't have the time. And so, I graciously bowed out and I took off a little time from music, but it was really around that same time that I've always listened to different styles of hip hop, not like a huge hip hop head until more recently, but I've appreciated it, and particularly like the storytelling aspect of it, the ability to tell stories with hip hop and the whole history of it. And yeah, so I had kind of closed the door on like playing with a full band for at least for a little bit. And I had an experience right around the time when I was turning 33, and my birth father, he died of a drug overdose that year. And it was just music, like always, it was just a very healing thing. And there was this one day that I was in my room in Houston and just had all this emotion going on, right? And I just had my PA system set up. I turned on just some like lo-fi jazz hop, like instrumental mix that played for hours. And I just hit record and just started letting all this stuff come out of me. And, I wouldn't say that any of it was particularly great or anything, but I hit record and I just was having such a catharsis, like this huge release. It was really powerful. And then, would listen to the recording a couple days or a week later and found a couple pieces that are like, there's something in there. There's actually, I think, something that if I put some time into might be worth playing with. And that was kind of the early seed of what has become 33. And I've just been kind of working on that behind the scenes. And I've released a 6-song EP last year at the end of 2021, right when I was going on the US tour and then the Mexico tour. And so when I did these tours just the last year, the activation tour, we did 30 cities in 60 days in the US and then a similar kind of schedule in Mexico. I was doing talks, but also performing my music for every stop. So that was cool too. And yeah, I mean, I chose the name 33 because that's like the age I was when I started really getting into this idea of rapping. It's the age I was when my father died of a drug overdose. But then also like on a deeper level, I'm not like an expert on numerology or any of that stuff by any means, but I see connections and synchronicities. And I definitely, there's people who say they believe that Christ was resurrected at the age of 33, that Buddha was 33 when he ascended and, became enlightened, so to speak. We also technically have 33 vertebrae. The bottom couple are fused together for most people. But also, I'll be honest, I like to trigger people a little bit who are afraid of symbols and numbers and things because, yes, the Freemasons, they have a 33rd degree and there's different secret societies that use that. But, if you ask one person, they'll say it's a quote unquote satanic number. It's a Freemason number. You ask another person, it's an angel number. It's a master number. So I think it's about, the symbols and the numbers, these things. For one, I refuse to give they, them the predator class, the Freemasons, whoever, monopoly over a pyramid or a triangle or the swastika. The swastika had a use before the Nazis.
Right.
I mean, many people know that, right? Well, it doesn't have to be what they claim it to be. And I don't think that the number 33 is just something we should abandon and give up because some shady people use it for their own purposes, right? So to me, it is like a number that represents like healing, growth, change, transformation. And I'm preparing to release this new album, which is going to be 12 new songs. And this is like something like I'm just incredibly proud of. It's called Transmutation. And I've been going to the studio out here in Mexico where I live. And we've probably, I would say, are about a week to 2 weeks at most from being totally done with the album. And then it'll probably be coming out by Christmas, early New Year's, if not. And I'm super excited, man. It's like you mentioned, clarity, streetlights, and we put out another single called Set Myself Free. And basically the whole album is kind of like the soundtrack to the roughest years of my life, and transporting myself back to a state of mind that I really don't exist in anymore. But, being very young, like in my late teens, early 20s, super depressed, looking to drugs and alcohol and sex and partying for answers, and eventually getting addicted to some hardcore drugs, getting addicted to crystal meth, and then going to prison. And through that, having this kind of awakening that has honestly guided everything I've been doing since then. And I was arrested in 2005. So it's almost been 20 years. I was 20 years old when I got arrested. And the album basically is telling that story. And so it's heavy. It's got some some deep elements that are maybe going to be a little harsh for some people to hear, but I also hope and believe it is relatable to different struggles, whether people have had the same struggles I have. And then about like 3/4 of the way through the album is kind of like the point where the song Set Myself Free, which is one of the singles, is the moment where like it all kind of comes crashing down. It's like a super like dark, almost brooding song, but I think the lyrics and the chorus are really strong. And that's like when I get arrested and like when I kind of realize like I got to change shit, and then from there, like the rest of the album is more like becoming this 33, what that represents, and change and healing and growth and waking up and obviously becoming more conscious of what's going on in the world, because I was so lost in all that shit. I couldn't really even care about or pay attention to what was going on in the world because I was dealing with my own struggles and things like that.
Dude, I gotta say, I have to apologize to you first because I didn't even know you were doing the music thing until today. And Jason shared some links with me, and I actually jammed Set Myself Free, and I'm like, it reminds me like Immortal Technique. It's like some deep, hard hitting just beats and your lyrics, man. It's really good. I actually wanted to play it on the podcast for today, so I have it queued up. And if you guys are ready, I'm gonna let it go.
Go for it, brother. Thank you, man.
All right.
It feels like everything around me is crashing to a halt. And sometimes I wonder why it's always my fault. It feels like the answers are always so elusive. I'm burying my pain in drugs, yeah, I'm so abusive. But the only one suffering is me, myself, and I. Can't believe I let it get to the point where I almost died. Now I'm trying to climb my way out of this grave I dug. Another broken son, another missing hug, another wannabe thug. Help me set myself free. Help me find myself, please. Help me set myself free. Help me find myself, please. Help me set myself free. Help me find myself, please. Help me set myself free. Help me find myself, please. I haven't been strong enough to stand up for myself. I hid behind the dope in a vain pursuit of wealth. I can't even remember where I was last night. It's like something's gotta give, but I can barely put up a fight. I'm so weak from all the substances I shoved in my system. Now I'm locked up, it's like I'm just another symptom of a broken system. All the people I lost, man, I missed them. I gotta find myself, I gotta get free. I refuse to be a victim. Help me set myself free. Help me find myself, please. Help me set myself free. Help me find myself, please. Help me set myself free. Help me me find myself, please. Help me set myself free. Help me find myself, please. I'm doing my time cause I won't let it do me. I have a choice, I can do what they did or I can do me. I'll strike out on my own path and find my destiny. There's no limits to what I can do once I'm physically free. But for now, I strengthen my body, mind, and spirit. There's a better future for me, and I'm trying to be near it. I'm shifting paradigms and evolving states of mind. I promise you won't recognize me next time you see this face of mine. Help me set myself free. Help me find myself, please. Help me set myself free. Help me find myself, please. Help me set myself free. Help me find myself, please. Help me set myself free. Help me find myself, please.
Dude, so powerful,
Yeah.
man. Very well done. I can't wait to listen to the rest of that. The rest of the whole album and everything.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, that's
Very powerful.
yeah. Thank you, man. I'm glad that that's hitting the way that I hoped it would. And yeah, actually, literally, as we're having this conversation, I just got sent another track, the latest version of it. So we're like maybe a week or 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks from it being done, and I'm working on the album cover. I'm even thinking about going old school with it and actually printing some CDs and maybe even like some super limited records, just because I want a record of my own music, you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we'll
I
see.
shared it on our YouTube, our Free Thought Project YouTube. So if anybody's listening,
Oh, well, thank you,
go
brother.
follow Derrick's 33 on YouTube and all of his other stuff too.